My name is Juan Rojas, and I'm from Sonsonate, which is located in the southwest of El Salvador. Um, I I have a history with permaculture that is dated back to 1990. But for me to come in touch with permaculture, I needed to go through a nightmare due to the war. So I was in the early 80s and at the National University. I was studying. I was, as any young guy, thinking, a promising future and having a car and a nuclear family and all that. However, the war broke on January 81, and then I, together with hundreds of students from the university, needed to go out and work or getting away from the country or joining the guerrilla, the revolutionary people. Because a lot of our student comrades, they joined the guerrilla. They left the city and joined the farmers and the peasants and all these workers who came to these hills, Guasapa Hills, Morazan, Chalatenango, that mountain over there, Chalatenango. That way is Morazan and this way is Guasapa. And some people remain in the city as urban guerrillas. So I took the decision to join the workers. So I work underground, trying to destabilize the company that I work with. So we were trying to get better conditions and better improvement on the money. However, in those days, the unions were what we call white unions. So they were part of the system. They were members of the military, people in power. So that's why I refer that I was working on destabilizing these unions, trying to get a proper representation of the workers. And that led me to have to become a target for the death squads. So luckily I left before they could catch me. So I fled to Guatemala and then eventually to Mexico. And in Mexico I was I lived there for 4 years until I became also in trouble with the immigration authorities because they say that I was as well meddling in internal politics. Due to my involvement with political parties and social sectors of the Mexican society that were interested in helping our struggle here. So once I got that notice from the immigration authorities to leave the country or to be deported, I went to the UN High Commission for Refugees body in the capital city of Mexico and seek refuge there. So I became a political refugee under their protection, and they advised me to leave Mexico because they couldn't give me protection there anymore. And also they advised me that there were countries providing protective grounds for refugees. So I ended up in Australia, and I spent 9 years in Australia, working as a normal citizen, working on the industry and also organizing refugees, Salvadoran immigrants there, or organizing solidarity groups from Australia with El Salvador groups. So I became active again with them, but also I was working, earning my daily bread. So when the war was over, I'm talking about 1989, when the peace accords started, the process started in Costa Rica. So then we figured out that the war was coming to an end, that there was going to be a truce or ceasefire or something that will end up with a negotiation. So I decided to look for a way in where I could help with the reconstruction, post-war reconstruction. And then I became aware that there were a lot of initiatives in Australia of people working on different aspects of sustainability, people living on villages, alternative lifestyle, some people working on developing rubbish dumping sites in the city, greening it. Some friends were members of networks of seed savers networks or trees. So then I became interested in what could be relevant to our situation here. And permaculture came handy because I thought that this was a very comprehensive approach to post-war reconstruction development. So I learned in the temperate climate in Melbourne, in the city, in the landscapes that is the tenant associations had. So these homeless people or poor people in Australia, they have this opportunity to live in these tenant associations settlements in the big cities. So I was working there with permaculture, trying to develop some alternatives for the elderly and youth and unemployed people. And then eventually I went to Queensland to learn subtropical permaculture in crystal waters. And then I had the opportunity to join Bill Mollison in the Australian Institute of Permaculture in Targum. So I spent time with him there. After that, I was desperate to come back. It was 1993. So I made my journey back to the country with my own savings and one-way fare, no return ticket. So I was really eager to prove myself that I could work in the land. So I came and joined these people in Morazan, some people that are members of this institute, founders of this institute too. So I joined them and I learned with them for 3 years. I was a volunteer like these people to learn how they work the land. They were just farmers, but with a lot of knowledge, traditional knowledge. So after that I felt that I was empowered by them, plus the permaculture experience. And then together with them we were working on this methodology that is pretty common here and in some other parts of the world, which is farmer-to-farmer methodology. And that's how everything started. So 7 years later, the Institute became a reality with the help of Karen Ingwood from England. But it took 7 years after we started with this methodology of farmer to farmer to become empowered with the term of permaculture.